Hello everybody, Crypto Chaperone here, and it's been a couple days since I've seen you guys because I've had some audio and video synchronization problems, but I think I finally got those fixed, and now I am back to present more cryptocurrency news and market recap with you guys. So a couple days ago I attempted to make a video, or I attempted it twice, and my synchronization problems kind of threw me off and I wasn't able to release the video and all that. And the past couple videos I've been doing, I've kind of been having these problems, but I think I finally got it fixed. And so today I'm pretty much going to go back and do what I was trying to do the past couple days video wise, and it hasn't been really any major news more or less, but pretty much just about investing in cryptocurrencies. I know a lot of people that look at my channel are new people who pretty much have never looked at cryptocurrencies before, and if they have, all they knew was Bitcoin, Ether, maybe Litecoin, and maybe one other cryptocurrency. And they find out about coinmarketcap.com and they go here and they see a list of 1,355 cryptocurrencies. And I'm sure that's probably 1,350 more than they ever could have imagined were there. So I am here pretty much to try to help you guys learn more about this space, the news that happens and why things happen, and stay ahead of everything that could potentially happen so you guys could grab the biggest profits from your cryptocurrency trades in this whole massive profit gaining area that is cryptocurrency, more or less. So if you guys do enjoy my video, if you would like it, subscribe to my channel and all that. If you guys haven't seen my Ledger Nano S giveaway video yet, I'm going to be doing that on the 24th or 25th of December. And all you have to do is comment on that video. I've got the link below in my description below this. And I also have a link for my Telegram channel if you want to stay up to date on all my trades, things that I do, ICOs I get into, any news that I come across, I kind of post it in there before I do anything, more or less. So you guys can keep up to date with everything that I do in my Telegram channel if you want to join that. The link is also below. So today we're going to get into cryptocurrencies and we're going to look into it. So market cap, our market cap has actually subsided a little bit. It was at over 500, I think it was about $515 billion was about our highest point of market cap, which is massive. Now, at the beginning of the year, if you were involved in cryptocurrencies or whatnot, you know that our market cap was somewhere around like 15 to 17 billion dollars. So we have exponentially multiplied our market cap, as well as every currency in this space has gone up exponentially. And one of those currencies that has gone up exponentially over the past week alone is Ethereum. Now Ethereum, I got into Ethereum personally when it was like $6 to $8 around there, and I did not buy as many as I wish I would have bought. And the reason I got into them pretty much was because I was buying Bitcoin off of a person through localbitcoins.com, and I was buying them in person because I didn't want to pay all the extra fees for MoneyGram and Western Union wire transfers and all that. And you also have to deal with a lot of shady people on there and take a chance of maybe even getting scammed. So I met a very reputable person who did deals in person, and I started buying some Bitcoins off them. And as I started meeting this guy more and more, he started talking to me more and more, and he just told me about this cryptocurrency called Ethereum. And I wasn't really aware that there were multiple other cryptocurrencies in this space. This was a couple years ago. It was probably about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago now. And he told me about this coin called Ethereum, and he said somebody that he knew told him about it, and it's going to be the next big thing. Buy into it now. It was like $6-7, and he said it's going to go up, it's going to go massive, it's going to be the next Bitcoin. So I went and I bought maybe like $200 in Bitcoin of them, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to hold on to these. And I put them in my wallet. I had an Ethereum wallet. I specifically went out and downloaded on my Mac, and I forgot everything about it. You have to put in a password and everything when you buy this, or when you download this wallet. And time went on, and I forgot about these Ethereum I bought and everything. And then I eventually came across, when I was looking at Bitcoin prices, an Ethereum price popped up, and Ethereum was sitting at like $60 or $70 a coin. And I was astonished that I made 10 times what I initially invested on Ethereum, and I completely forgot where I even had my Ethereum or where they were, what happened to them. So I went looking for my Ethereum. I found the wallet on my computer, and then the password thing popped up. I had no idea what my password was. After I tried pretty much every password that I ever used in my existence, I eventually came across the password. It worked. I opened it up. I had my Ethereum, and that was how I initially got my first step into wanting to trade multiple cryptocurrencies and really diving into this whole cryptocurrency space. I'm sure everybody that is getting into cryptocurrencies now is going to have kind of their story, what they invested in. Maybe they'll buy Bitcoin at, maybe they bought it at 10,000 and they sold it at 20,000 and they doubled their money within a week. Or maybe you have people that bought into Ethereum because they bought into Bitcoin and then moved into Ethereum down when it was $200 or $300 a couple weeks ago, and just made their profit when it went up to $700 and potentially tripled their money off that. Now that's not as big as I grew, but this is everyday people coming into this space like you or me that have never heard of cryptocurrencies. These aren't big investors or people that are potentially have tons of capital on hand that they could be losing or gaining at any time. These are just regular everyday people who hear about Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies and want to get on it and enjoy it. And as they do get in it and enjoy it, they start to make these profits and it starts to feel good and they really enjoy it and they start to put more and more money in. And that's kind of what I'm going to talk about today is when are we going to see this next big pullback in cryptocurrencies, or when we kind of have a little bit of a pullback today, more or less. IOTA has a pullback, Litecoin, Ethereum. Now these have been charging upward the past week. Ethereum went from, I think it was less than $400, maybe it was a little over $400, and it went up to like $750 and just rocketed upward. It was even close to $800 at a couple points. Potentially maybe even went over 800 if I am mistaken and didn't see that. But Ethereum definitely charged upward. And the reasons for that, there was a couple reasons for that. During this week, the SEC actually came out and they had a big meeting and stuff. And they pretty much just talked about how they're trying to help crack down on fake ICOs, or ICFOs, as I'll call them. Just fake coin investment opportunities in this whole space. And a lot of people are kind of feeling a little bit better about that. And they kind of reiterated that Ethereum isn't really going to be a security, so it's kind of got a utility connected to it, and it's kind of got a reason to own it, and they're not really promising you a return on your money and things like that. So it gave owners and investors, holders of Ethereum, a little bit more comfort behind it that they can hold this token without possibly being persecuted or have the IRS or someone coming after them for some reason, or the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission. A couple other things that is actually going on. There is a Swiss banking giant called UBS, and them, along with a few other big banking entities, more or less, are going to be working on the Ethereum network to comply with regulations that they have to comply with their money moving. And they are going to be doing this on January 3rd, and this is something that they have to do in the European Union to comply with whatever they have to do. And they're going to be doing this on the Ethereum network. So more or less, they're going to have to accumulate some tokens or do whatever they have to do. They're at least going to be showing some interest in the Ethereum network, which has a lot of other people showing interest in the Ethereum network. You also have EdCon, which is coming up on May 3rd, which is definitely going to get a lot of other eyes from the outside world looking on Ethereum, as well as you have the net neutrality situation kind of arising in the United States. And with that, it's pretty much internet providers, and what they do is they basically give you the same access to every web page out there. They give you the same priority level to every web page. So if you go to Facebook, it's the same priority as if you go to MySpace or whatnot. There shouldn't be any pages that load faster or slower, and the internet service provider can't really log you down or slug your files based on logging onto these pages. And they should all be more or less loading at the same time and equal, more or less. And what would happen technically if this bill wasn't around and people think is that they're going to start charging enormous amounts of money to access possibly Facebook.com, eBay, Amazon, things like that. These sites that have more and more traffic and have more of a reason for people to go to them, they're going to start to charge people more every time they access them, because you would be paying per access or per whatever you're doing, whatever you're using your net for. If you're using it for streaming, if you're using it to do social things on Twitter, you would be paying specifically what you did with that. Now, there's a lot of people who also want to take the net neutrality factor and they want to interweave it with Ethereum and what Ethereum has to offer. And basically what that is there is a network on Ethereum called the Mesh Network. And what a mesh network is, it's basically a network that is expanded between a bunch of computers. It's kind of like if you ever, like when you went to school and you had a computer lab and every computer was kind of interconnected to each other but you don't have to have every computer more or less connected to the internet, which they were there, and that's kind of where it gets away from my example. But if you had every computer connected in like a school or a company, you could log in through one computer and pull files out of another computer and see what all the other computers have. And every computer necessarily doesn't have to be connected to the internet, they're just connected to a network of other computers. And that's basically what a mesh network is it would be a network built on the Ethereum platform that would engulf all of these people who wanted to be particular in the network. You would run a contract in the background of your computer or your phone, and it would let you more or less partake in whatever is on this network. If people were running Facebook or people were running music downloading or something on this network, you would be able to partake in whatever was on this network, and you would be able to pay these people who were kind of hosting you instead of an internet service provider. You'd be able to pay these individuals with Ethereum or small microtransaction tokens of whatever was accepted on the Ethereum network for these transactions or whatever you're using. So it's definitely something that cryptocurrencies are going to help out in the long term. As you start to have a lot more technological things happen in the future, you're going to have robots. Companies are coming together with robots. Companies are coming together with these mesh networks. There was an ICO that was going to run for a company called the Amber token, and it was a whole mesh ICO, a mesh network, and they actually canceled their ICO at the last minute because they found a venture capitalist company that was willing to fund more or less the whole ICO, the full price that it would cost for them to start everything and what the ICO was initially going to raise. So if there's a company out there that's willing to spend, 40-50 million dollars initially investing in this future of internet, then there's potential that this could really be the big thing of the future. So definitely looking out for Ethereum or anything that's got the ability to build contracts and do things like this is going to be great. If you looked at one of my other videos that I did a couple days ago that said why Bitcoin, I think, will go to $100,000 in 2019 or by the year 2019, I mentioned that Bitcoin is going to be having a layer protocol over it that is called the rootstock network. And the rootstock basically is going to be a implementation that lets you build contracts on Bitcoin's network, kind of like Ethereum has contracts that you can build on Ethereum's network. And this is going to help Bitcoin immensely because everybody that wants to invest in Ethereum and build contracts is going to be doing this on Bitcoin. And a lot more people know about Bitcoin, even if Ethereum is more stable for what it does of building contracts and whatnot. Bitcoin will definitely have its improvements in the future. This rootstock layer will actually help increase the transaction time. Right at the moment, Bitcoin has about, on a good day, Bitcoin can hit like 7-8 transactions a second, but on average, Bitcoin has about 4 to 5 transactions per second. And this rootstock protocol layer will actually increase Bitcoin's transactions to about 300 transactions per second. So that's about 60 to 70 times more transactions than what Bitcoin is actually holding per second at the moment, which will lead to about 60 to 70 times more daily transactions. So Bitcoin at a high is hitting about 450 to 500,000 transactions a day at the moment. So this will definitely be able to keep up with everybody's transactions more or less that are in the network at the moment. Bitcoin also has another layer that is coming within the Lightning Network 2 on it, and they are working with all those tests and stuff at the moment. I think it's past like 97% of the tests that they've actually done with Lightning Network on Bitcoin. I think it's been like 75 of 77 tests or something like that. What essentially that's going to do is it's going to speed up Bitcoin's transactions into the millions of transactions per second. So as I'm just saying this because it's Bitcoin and a lot of people invest in Bitcoin, and I think Bitcoin's going to be the king cryptocurrency at the end, but all these cryptocurrencies could potentially have these developments that come to them that make them better, that make them more valuable to whoever's holding them or people who are potentially looking for that technology in the future. So you're going to have a lot of people who are going out of their way to buy some of these cryptocurrencies just based on new developments. As I've talked about, random news that comes out, news equals profit. And if you can stay ahead of the news that's happening in cryptocurrencies, you can stay ahead on the profit. Now, what's going to happen in the upcoming weeks, personally, I think, is we're going to see a little bit of a dip in cryptocurrencies. We're in the last quarter of the year, which means a lot of companies, venture capitalist companies and stuff like that, they like to pull out some of their profits, give it back to their investors. A lot of people like to pull out money around the holiday season to pay for things. essentially you can still pay for things with Bitcoin and you don't have to pull them out. But a lot of people, it's coming up to the very beginning of the year and people might want to start reinvesting in different cryptocurrencies. People might start taking out the crypto collateral loans and really taking more chances in cryptocurrencies. But as that happens, you're going to have cryptocurrencies start to dip. The very volatile markets, these spikes are going to really set in more heavily. You're going to have big investors and people who really know what is going on in the cryptocurrency world, people who have kind of coordinated these pump and dumps before, where you used to see Bitcoin go up to $4,000 and $5,000 and then dip back down 15-20%. That's just not organic growth. That's not regular everyday traders doing that. Those are big people who have a lot of Bitcoins, a lot of capital to do that with. So you're going to see eventually, as these markets start to dip a little bit, you're going to see them become more volatile because people have a lot of money. And the reason I say that is because we have two major holidays coming up. We have, if you're in the United States, we have Christmas and we have New Year. If you're, in the world, you deal with New Year. You have a whole new year, a whole new calendar year coming up. Christmas is actually on a Monday this year, as well as New Year's, which means in the United States, the banking institutions are going to be closed from Sunday until Tuesday. They will open back up on Tuesday. Now, what actually happens a lot of time when the banks are closed, or even on weekends, cryptocurrencies will kind of do a lot of crazy, chaotic things because people can't really get their money into the market quick enough to buy up dips or do a lot of things that they want to do when cryptocurrencies take kind of a hiatus. What I personally think is going to happen during these two holidays is you're going to see some sort of volatile action in cryptocurrencies, whether it be a spike or a upward or downward, more or less. I think potentially, since it's happened a few other times, I think it was maybe Labor Day or Veterans Day, we had a longer weekend and cryptocurrencies took a decent dip. I think that was actually when they released the China ICO ban news, which was kind of weird. They released it on like a late Saturday, or eventually in their time to our time, it was like a Saturday afternoon or whatnot. But yeah, it was pretty late, and it was kind of weird that they would release it on a weekend when the banks are closed and people can't really do too much with their money. They can't buy into these dips and things like that. I think personally that could be something that happens at the end of the year, seeing that we've been taking such an exponential rise in these cryptocurrencies. If you have been watching Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin pretty much went up, I think over triple. It went up like 350% over the course of like a month, or even less than that. But it's definitely crazy how quick these grow. And as you start to see these grow, you're going to start to see a lot more people that are going to go, yeah, let me put this week's paycheck in. Let me put 50% of this week's paycheck in. Let me put 80% of this week's paycheck because I just made, $2,000 on my Bitcoin investment and Bitcoin's going upwards. So I might as well invest in it now. And you're going to have a lot of people that start to just throw their capital into this, and they're going to think that they're going to be making such a great investment when a lot of these cryptocurrencies at the moment are sitting at their all-time highs. Now, if you've been paying attention to these cryptocurrencies in general, if they're at their all-time high right now, that means that you've obviously been able to make a profit. Even if you bought it at the previous all-time high, even if it's not a major profit, you've still been able to buy or make a profit if you've held on to any coins till this point. Now, there are coins that haven't grown up to an all-time high, or there's coins that completely have bottomed out at this time. But for the most part, around this time is when a lot of coins are starting to get a lot of notoriety, and they're starting to get a lot of people looking at them. And there's a lot of people that are just looking for that next Bitcoin. If you look on Facebook and whatever you go, just going through internet ads in general, if you've looked for cryptocurrencies, and since you're looking at this video, your cookies are going to be picking up that you search for cryptocurrencies. So you're going to start to get a lot of advertisements that talk about Bitcoin cryptocurrencies. And when you look at those, there are going to be people that are talking about, oh, this is the next Bitcoin. This will be the next Bitcoin. What's the next Bitcoin? I'll help you find the next Bitcoin. There's not going to be a next Bitcoin. All these cryptocurrencies are unique and individual to themselves. The only thing unique about Bitcoin, more or less, is its blockchain, and it really introduced the blockchain technology to everybody, and it's the cryptocurrency that's leading the cryptocurrency way. Now, that doesn't mean that another cryptocurrency can't come up and eventually be good or as good as Bitcoin, but when you hear about cryptocurrencies, mostly the first thing you hear about is Bitcoin. It's kind of like when you buy Kleenex. You ask someone for a Kleenex. That's the name brand of, it's called a tissue. but you still ask for a Kleenex because that's the name brand and that's just what you know it as. So Bitcoin is kind of the name brand of the cryptocurrencies. A lot of people don't know what a cryptocurrency is, but they know what a Bitcoin is. That's kind of more or less all I've really got for you guys today, is just kind of be ready for potentially a dip that could be coming up in the next 2 weeks. I know this video really didn't have too much in-depth information in it today. This was more or less what I was trying to film the other day, and it was just going to be like a short talk about how you need to be aware of what you are investing and what times you are investing. Now, I've talked about before how if you are going to buy into something, maybe Bitcoin, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, if you have your set initial capital that you're putting into it, say you're putting $1,000 in, don't buy $1,000 into it today. Buy 25% in today, 30% today, 10% today, and watch and set limits and buy in maybe 15-20% tomorrow. Wait a couple days, buy in another 10%, because if you were getting on this Litecoin train, Litecoin was up at $330, $340, and if you were getting all excited and buying in your 100% of your investment back then, now you're definitely seeing a dip in your portfolio. But if you were buying in maybe 15-20% back then, based on when you were buying in initially, you might be just evening out and going basically flatlining on your portfolio of your investment to whatever you've earned. So it wouldn't be as bad as if you put in 50% of your investment at the all-time high, and now we see a little bit of a pullback, 15%, 20%, and your portfolio would definitely be seeing a lot worse results than what it would be if you invest slowly. So even though these numbers, they look great, Ripple, it shot up from 20 some cents. It's pretty much tripled in the past couple days. It looks great, and it looks like a great time to invest because you see so much green, but you have to understand that a lot of people have held this coin for a while, and you're just going to be buying that coin that people have held for a while, and you might be that person that now holds that coin for a while. So I'm going to leave you guys with that for the most part. Let's refresh this page and see if we have hit... Oh, we've gone up $6 billion during this video. So that's how quick cryptocurrencies can really move. Now, that's not a very volatile spike based on what can actually happen. I've seen $20 and $30 billion getting pulled out over the course of me refreshing the page over maybe 15-20 minutes. For the most part, guys, cryptocurrencies are going to stay volatile going into the next year. But if you play them correctly, you don't have to look for that next Bitcoin. You don't have to take your chances on these things. You just have to know when to pull out. You have to know when you set your personal goal of maybe you buy into Litecoin at $150 and you say, I'm going to pull out a little bit at 40%, 30%. So you start to take out maybe your initial investment at 40-30% profits, and you reinvest it maybe later, wait for a pullback, or you start to pull out more profits as it goes up higher. And that way you're not really getting off the train completely. If it does keep going skyward to the moon, as Litecoin did, I had a lot of people that were asking me, should I buy Litecoin? Should I get on the Litecoin train? And it went from, it was like $78 up to like 102, and then it went up to 140, and then it went up to 200, and then it kept rising. And personally, I didn't think it was going to keep going because you have so many people who want to take advantage of profits in this space, and you have so many people, especially when Litecoin was sitting down at $4 at the beginning of the year, and you're going up to like 75 times gains and 80 times gains throughout the year. It's pretty crazy, and a lot of people are going to be happy with that, especially if they maybe had $100 in Litecoin at the beginning of the year, and now they've got almost $10,000 in Litecoin. You just have to be aware. Don't throw all your money at once. Don't get too excited about these numbers as they go up, because they're definitely going to go back down. We can't sustain this growth forever. The growth that we've had, as you've seen, all of these charts are just spiked upwards. So we're going to definitely have some downward spikes. And you also want to remember, don't freak out on these downward spikes, because when you start to sell your coins, like I said, a lot of these coins are at their all-time high right now. So if you would have been somebody that got afraid on a previous dip and sold some of your coins, all other people are going to do is take profit from what you're doing. And you're being afraid, and people are just going to take advantage of your weak hands, more or less. If you are afraid of losing potential profits on your cryptocurrencies, don't buy in at a time where you feel uneasy. And as pretty much as you go on trading, more or less, you're going to learn these things, and you're going to become more comfortable with cryptocurrencies and trading and how you move your money around. But for the most part, as you initially get into this space, don't be willing to put more money into it than you're willing to lose. As you keep going, that's also something you don't want to do. But as you see these numbers going up, I know it's hard for people not to just put in their life savings into cryptocurrencies, pretty much like something I did at the beginning of the year, more or less. But I saw the potential of cryptocurrencies when the market was really small. It still is really small and it's grown a lot, but it's definitely something you have a lot more chance to get scammed or really lose your money now at this point, because you're going to have a lot of ICOs coming out in this next year. You're going to have a lot of quality and you're going to have a lot of quantity, and you're going to have to really understand that there's going to be a lot of good ICOs mixed in with a lot of bad ICOs, because there's going to be a lot of people out there. A lot of these bad ICOs are going to be getting picked up by the SEC. As I said, they have an actual task force out there that are looking for these things, but a lot of these bad ICOs, they're going to be pretty much preying on people that are getting new into cryptocurrencies, that the people that I talk about that only know about Bitcoin and Ethereum and don't understand that there's a whole cryptocurrency community out here, a whole cryptocurrency atmosphere that is continuously growing every day. And they're going to think that potentially, since these pop up on Google or whatnot, wherever you're going, any advertisement that pops up may be legitimate, and it's not. Any advertisement that pops up can be a scam. BitPetite was popping up on my computer a week after the website shut down, and they ran off with everybody's money. Just because you see an advertisement pop up on a website doesn't mean it's legit in any way, especially coming to these cryptocurrency websites where that's the only thing people are doing is looking for cryptocurrencies. And CoinMarketCap alone can fund a Lamborghini a day off of the amount of views that they get and the amount of sponsorships that they can get paid per view or whatnot. They can make like $150,000 a day just based on ad revenue. So you have to understand that with that kind of money out there, a lot of these sites aren't going to really care what they're showing you. They're going to show you whatever is paying them the money. So you really want to do your due diligence, and you really want to look into this space as much as you can, or whatever you're going to invest in as much as you can before you invest in it. So finally, I'm going to leave you guys with that. If you haven't liked this video yet, like it, subscribe to my channel, and I will be back tomorrow. Hopefully, if we don't run into any more problems with our synchronization and all that, I'll be back tomorrow with more stuff for you guys, and it'll definitely be a more in-depth video than what I had today. So enjoy these spikes in cryptocurrencies. Maybe, I'm sure a lot of you are seeing a little bit of a downtrend in your portfolio than what it's been the past couple days, but enjoy, because for the most part, you're still probably up in the long term. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.